Hey y'all, it's Zeffie. If the camera keeps wobbling or the light keeps changing, it's because I'm outside. I'm in the car. Couldn't record at home like I usually do. See, it's wobbling now. I'm literally having to hold my camera on top of my steering wheel. So yeah, I'm gonna hop to it. This week we're talking about mundane magic, and I honestly am not a fan of the phrase mundane magic. I feel like when you use the word mundane and attach it, it seems very, like it's not special, it's nothing of use, just kind of, it's on the back burner, it's just off there. I'm not a fan of it, but I understand the usage of the word. So mundane magic basically being anything that is not directly related to your spiritual path or your spiritual self. So I tend to look at it more of things that are of this world, things that are here right now. So that leaves a lot of space to go with. So I'm kind of just taking this as starting off to share some things that I do. I don't want to say on a daily basis, but things that are relatively common for me to do that a lot of people just think, oh, she's weird, she's superstitious, or, you know, it's just something, a little habit I'm into. And I have it written on a piece of paper. This is my checkbook because I am a server. I took notes at work. So a big one for me, first of all, is knitting blankets for newborns. A lot of people, they think of knitting a blanket for newborn as something that's really cool, that's very, it's handmade, it's sweet, it's kind, you're putting your love and your, you know, time into it. I also do it as I'm doing it. I will work, I'll burn certain candles, or I'll certain incense going, and it turns into almost a binding spell. And a lot of people, there is a lot of controversy and disagreement in the community versus whether binding is good or bad, or if it's against someone's intentions. But I don't use it as a way to control someone. I definitely look at, especially when it comes to knitting blankets for babies, as a way of I'm lighting candles and doing incense for healing and positivity and love and, you know, all the good things you would want, you know, for a child, especially newborn, and, you know, things you'd want for their life. I almost look at it almost as, in the beginning of Sleeping Beauty, how you have the 3 fairy godmothers and they're doing their spells for what they want that child to be. I recently did one for a friend of mine whose daughter, they weren't sure how healthy she was going to be. They were aware of some birth defects and some complications that were going to arise with her coming. But I knit the blanket for her and she turned out okay, and she snuggles with it when she's sick, and because she does have some health issues, and it gets her good. So I do use that as a cool way of that. I say things out loud a lot, all the time. I do it for 2 reasons. One being, when you say things out loud, it brings that energy out into the world. It sends those vibrations. It really does make it so, you know, it puts it out there. It really does put things out there. Number 2 being, if it's going to be that you're going to do something, or that's something that's going to happen, it makes it so that other people can hold you accountable. The more people hear you say you're going to do something, the more likely you are going to do it. Sorry, I keep having to reference this. I will wear certain things depending on what I need. I will always wear my pentacle. That's more of, not just even a religious symbol, but it's just in my mind, protection. I will always wear my black tourmaline bracelet as a means of protection. And, ooh, oh my goodness, and I will always have my, every time I go into the city, I'm from the Chicago suburbs, we're slowly getting into more of where I'm from. We have monks that walk around and they just pray for peace. They pray over people, and they are so sweet. They are a much needed distraction from the angry ministers and pastors and preachers who spew how much we're all horrible people, we're all going to hell if you don't turn exactly into them, and we're all, you know, crazy. But accept God's love, even though he hates even sending you to hell. But we have monks who go around and do things, and they will hand out little things. And every time I go down, I always find a monk, and it's always a different monk, but monks love me. Monks freaking love me, and they give me bracelets. I've not gone to the city without, at least during the summer, without getting a bracelet from a monk. So I always have a monk bracelet. I mean, little things like that. Depending on what I'm doing that day, I will have different jewelry, different stones that will kind of attract different things to me. There's that. I'm sorry, I keep having to hold up this thing. Things didn't go as planned, so I couldn't record at home. okay, here's a good example. I need to make a video on my original channel, which I have been neglecting for so long. It's been about a month since I posted, but I'm hopping back on it. Things are getting a little more regular, and I have a lot more time to film. My grandmother, I don't want to say she is, which she was just, definitely does have her tendencies and her superstitions. She is an old Catholic Italian woman, and she's very superstitious, and one of them is sprinkling lobelia around the house, around the backyard. She'd have me do it whenever there's a storm coming. Living in the Midwest, we do definitely get some pretty crazy storms. Lobelia is good with storm magic. So what she would do is she'd have me sprinkle it around the house and sit outside, you know, before it became dangerous to be outside, and imagine the house being okay. Imagine her house and all her lawn furniture and all that stuff, you know, being okay. And I wish I was joking with how crazy this was. And I'm like 7, 8, 9 years old doing this. Our neighbors, like her neighbors' houses, all their lawn furniture and stuff would be thrown around, tables flipped over. I mean, a storm would come and it would wreck hell on their backyards. My grandmother, nothing would happen. I think maybe a chair would flip over, if that. I think that's the worst that ever happened. So that was actually really, really awesome. She had me do that. There's also when we got really bad storms, like potentially tornadic weather, or, you know, to spew tornadoes, she would cook a certain soup. And I need to find out what soup this is because I remember it tasted really good. It was called storm soup, and I have no idea what was in it, but it was delicious, and she said it would keep the house safe, which is kind of true. I also wear oils every day. I do certain oils. You can buy them. My favorite ones to buy are the Anna Rivas oils. Some people say they're not the greatest, but I've had really good luck with them, and they're pretty cheap. But I will also make my own, and I will dab certain oils on me and wear them depending on what I'm trying to do with that day. At work, I will do money-related oils. I almost always will wear an anointing oil to kind of bring everything in. I have love-related ones if I'm going into a situation which I feel is potentially hostile, because women my age suck, and they all like to gossip and run their mouths. I'll do one about people, you know, staying quiet. So I'll do that, and then another big one, which I do need to also make a video on this one, is because I'm a server, we do have our little server books that we carry, you know, checks in, and, you know, we keep our money, our receipts, stuff like that. But mine is decorated and it's held together in a certain way that I find works really well for me. There's tarot cards in there, there's prayer cards. Actually, there's not them right now because I just had them wrecked because water got spilled all over it. So I'm getting new ones, but for now I have just the computer printout, so not the actual cards, but I have certain prayer cards for certain saints. I have certain tarot cards. I have certain images in there, like people's pictures. I carry a gree bag in there. I have amulets. I make a thing out of it, and it works pretty well for me. So that was that. This is kind of a very broad topic. I just figured I roll with these things. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Toodles.